Scanning for audio.
Welcome to Tin Dog Podcast number 101. As you can hear, my voice is a little bit better. I no longer sound like the voiceover of the TV series The Cube. I know for a fact last week I could quite clearly have said, "The body would do this." Oh, let's leave that and move on, shall we?
To select audio navigation, press Enter now.
Talking about Doctor Who? Back to business as usual, I think. Two things to cover this week. The Keys of Marinus, and Tom Baker's return to his role as the Fourth Doctor in Hornets Nest. First up, Keys of Marinus.
It is the sea. It's beautiful. Grandfather, I wonder where we are.
Well, one thing's sure, we're not at Southend.
Sea of Acid. You know, in all my travels, I've never come across anything like this before.
For the sake of all my people, you must find the keys for me.
Stop it! Go away! Don't you dare come near me! He's alive! Oh, he's alive! This whole place is one big booby trap.
Please, I only want to help you.
No!
The murderer is without any doubt in the chamber.
Ian!
Kill her.
When the final key is inserted, my power is absolute.
It's coming again. The jungle is coming. When the whispering starts, it's death, I tell you. Death.
Before I talk about the Keys of Marinus, I just want to say what a fantastic time I had at the Hooverville convention. I know it's been a few weeks ago now, and the podcasting panel has appeared on many other podcasts, so I won't bother putting it up as part of my link. If you want to hear it in full, I suggest you listen to either the Flashing Blade or the Staggering Stories podcast. Basically, I had a great day and met some great people. And even the head of Pertwee. And so the Keys of Marinus, released on the 21st of September this year as Region 2. Like last month's release, well, I say last month's like this month but earlier, you know, the Twin Dilemma, it's fairly light on extras. It's got the commentary, it's got the information text, it's got a photo gallery, the standard PDF stuff, an Easter egg, but also a coming soon for the Dalek War box set. That covers two different stories, and I'll be doing both of those in the next couple of weeks, but enough of those when we get to them. The commentary's got William Russell, Caroline Ford, Ray Cusack, and the director, and it's all moderated by Clayton Hickman. It's well worth listening to. Now, it's a First Doctor story, written by Terry Nation, designed by Ray Cusack, which for some people make you just go, ooh, Daleks. Now, this is only the 5th story ever to be made for Doctor Who, and for some people, it's a definitively wobbly set story, not that the sets wobble at all, as far as I could see. Here we see Terry Nation's style coming true to form. It's closer to MacGyver than a Doctor Who story, in the sense that it's an adventure that moves from location to location. It's a quest, and let's face it, every new concept that comes along bases itself in some part on concepts that have gone before. For more information on that sort of thing, I suggest you read large amounts of Faction Paradox books, and then go mad and drink some absinthe. That does count as a ramble, I guess. Marvellous. No. Here we have Doctor Who showing some of its roots in more of the serial-type dramas, the things like The Flash Gordon and Rocketeer from the 30s and 40s. The crew materialise next to, well, a sea of acid, and are given the quest to find, guess what? Yep, you've guessed it from the title, some keys. They look a bit like USB stuff, that plugs into a large central brain that looks suspiciously like the cyber controller. We have covered this in the history of the Cybermen. The theory that this story has something but nothing on paper to do with the origin of the Cybermen. It's clearly made up, but you can see where people are getting at on this. No, there's nothing to do with the Cybermen here. What there is to do with is population control, and some of the other ideas which always turn up in Nation's work, right up to Blake 7 and beyond. No, here we have a very tidy 6-part story. Each episode is enjoyable in itself, and if you're not enjoying it, there'll be a different one along soon enough. It's extremely ambitious given the time and the money that was spent on this programme. Now, I've been watching a lot of Doctor Who lately in order to try and get every single Who-strology reading going. That involves me watching every episode of Doctor Who. I was trying in order, but no. I've reverted back to watching ones that are just Doctor by Doctor, going day by day. For example, this morning I've been watching the Talons of Wen Chiang, and I may, if I have time, watch the Ark. And this story stands up extremely well against all of the above. It's not the greatest story ever made, and we can talk about the top 200 stories next time, I think, the ones that have appeared in Doctor Who magazine, just in time to give everyone else around the world enough time to receive their copy of the magazine. No, this story is a more than worthy addition to any Doctor Who collection. The same, however, cannot be said of my next thing. A CD containing Tom Baker. I'm going to approach this slightly differently. First off, because I've been saving the CD for this very occasion, I'll talk a little about it beforehand, then I'll listen to it, and then I'll come back, and then I'll record my review. For me, Doctor Who's always been an audio medium, starting with Genesis of the Daleks, and then through the Wilderness Year's Big Finish, and including the Paradise of Death. The audio version of storytelling has been an important part of Doctor Who for a very, very long time. Narrative structures have evolved, and we now have certain standards, certain expectations when it comes to audio drama. I was excited when I discovered that Tom Baker was going to be doing some more audio dramas, wonderful CDs that would fit somewhere into my collection. It's been 30 years, almost 30 years, since Tom last wore his multicoloured scarf. Admittedly, when he was wearing it then, it was sort of many shades of burgundy. But enough of that. Could Tom still play the Fourth Doctor? I'm worried. I genuinely am. I'd also heard some reasonably negative reviews of the audio itself. So before I review it, I'll just read what it says on the back of the CD. Tom Baker reprises the role of the Fourth Doctor for the first 5 thrilling brand new adventures with Richard Franklin as Mike Yates. Wanted. Retired army captain for light household duties and fireside companionship. Must tolerate mild eccentricity and strong scientific advice. Knowledge of giant maggots, superintelligent spiders, and prehistoric monsters a positive boon. Responding to an advert apparently worded for him alone, Captain Mike Yates, retired, is reunited with a ghost from the past. But why has the Doctor, the mysterious traveller in time and space, sent for his former unit acquaintance? Trapped by a horde of vicious creatures in an apparent innocuous English country village, the two friends are on the brink of an enormous adventure. As the Doctor relates his recent escapades, it becomes clear to Mike that they, and the Earth at large, are facing an enemy of unimaginable power and horrific intent. The nightmare is only just beginning. Yeah. Here we go.
Doctor Who, Hornets Nest, The Stuff of Nightmares by Paul Mars, starring Tom Baker and Richard Franklin.
What are you doing here, hidden away in deepest Sussex? I didn't know you owned property.
There's a lot we don't know about each other, Captain.
It's plain Mr. these days, Doctor. Has been for quite some time.
Of course. Since the business with the dinosaurs marauding about Westminster, eh?
Quite.
Forgive me if I slip into old habits and call you Captain. As for why I'm here, in bucolic splendour, you can call it a temporary sojourn.
But it can't be you.
Oh, dear. Are you going to get very mixed up? Have a drink, Mike. Sit yourself down, my dear chap.
Timelines. It's the timelines, isn't it? You've gone and crossed over and back again and looped the flaming loop, haven't you?
Have I?
But you... you look just like you did after I left unit. We met once.
Yes, the Brigadier's Christmas party.
But then I heard that you changed, and changed again.
Did I? How annoying for all of us.
And here you are, back as you were in the 70s. And look at me.
As you know, Mike, time's not linear for me.
I know, only too well. Look at you. Any of you can come back at any time, can't you? Without a by your leave.
I'm afraid so. I'm so glad you've come. You see, I've been in need of a little company.
You, Doctor? Company? I thought you were happy wandering about on a whim. It's not like you to sit in one place.
Right. That wasn't as bad as I feared. It wasn't by any stretch of the imagination up to the standards of Big Finish. We really have been spoilt by incredibly well-made stuff of late. I'm still not completely sure about Tom playing the Fourth Doctor these days. Okay, all of the actors who play the Doctor have become older, and in many cases better. But here, it's more Little Britain than Little Time Lord. And there's something up with the sound quality. It does sound like, well, lots of different recording sessions have been edited together to make one narrative. And I say one narrative, the thing itself is much, much more like, well, a companion chronicle than an audio adventure. You see, when it comes to most storytelling like TV or film, the rule of show, don't tell, being this is the action as it's happening, it makes things much more exciting than someone sitting round a fire relating their story, telling how things were. Most of it's I did this, then I did that. It's very, very singularly voiced. The first few minutes are all Mike Yates, and the rest of the adventure, well, it's the Fourth Doctor relating to him the story of some stuffed creatures which have come to life for no adequately explored reason, and have met the Doctor in the past, and want their revenge. The Doctor hadn't met them, so he keeps nipping off in his TARDIS. The turns of phrase used by Paul Magyars are exceptionally well done. It's very, very quotable, which is always a good sign of a Fourth Doctor story. I will be listening to the others, and will be reviewing them. I already have them on order. But I do desperately hope that they get better. So until next time, when we'll be talking about Frontier in Space, and doing some wonderful Whostrologies from people who've helped support the Tin Dog podcast by buying one on eBay, be seeing you. You have been listening to the Tin Dog podcast. Doctor Who and its associated shows are all trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Contact us at tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk.